I might open the door in a little bit. So, or do you want to just keep it locked?
Keep it locked. I was gonna go down there.
Okay.
You were talking about going to the gym. Yeah, you can stay going to the easy one. I said we were talking about the gym. Yeah, I think we stay going.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was like, kind of mad I didn't get him to write down all of his exercises. What else changes about obedience and love for the Creator?
No, thank you. Mommy, I wanted to.
Say a question one more time. I'm sorry.
What else changes due to your love and obedience toward your Creator? Your appearance change, your desires change. What else?
Oh, Kane, we're continuing. Okay.
Okay. So you're not in the club no more? How about like once a month? Can we go once a month? What else?
Can I answer?
Be a light in the club. Okay. What else changes?
The people around you change, your sphere of influence.
Okay. So your circle or your sphere of influence. I like that term. I could see. What else? One more thing changes. Go ahead. Elliot, I'm going to put shit on the spot just right now. Maybe later.
I wrote down everything that he said last week. Is the way you think, the way you dress,
the
way you do things, the way you talk, the way you eat, the way you treat other people, the way you pray, worship, and your friends.
Okay. So your language changes, your heart changes towards people, the way you treat people. Okay, all of those things should change. Now, which leads up to today. How long does that take? Later, how long did it take you to start walking? We can't hear you over here. Say that again.
I said two.
Way earlier. Ari, how long did it take for you to start reading? Did you know your ABCs and you was reading at the same time? Okay, so as soon as you learned your ABCs, then you started reading.
Some smart children.
Some very, very smart children. So Ariel, did you crawl and walk at the same time? Like as soon as you started crawling, did you start walking too? No? Okay. So can somebody tell me how long is the process for all those things to change like we spoke about last week, right? How long is that process? I'm gonna call you out just because I like him. So Shay yesterday, since he's been coming here, he's never really worn those ZTs. Now today, can you stand up and them? I like how belligerent they are. They just need his face. Just watch out so you don't hit none of the children. Okay, so things change. It is a process. So I have a question, right? Since nobody answered how long is the process. Akeem, has the Most High promised you anything?
Has the Most High promised me anything? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of promises in there when you obey and when you shema. When you keep the commandments and you obey them, there's certain things that He puts in your life as well, blessings. So I can't say He has promised me things, but I have to play my part to make those promises come to fruition.
Okay. You graduated, right? So I can mess with you and say it's very textbook of you. It's very textbook of you. Say, as the Most High promised you anything.
Just say or I'm saying.
Oh, swap it. Akuti, Shay, as the Most High promised you anything.
He has actually. He's promised what he will do if I don't obey, and he promised what he will do if I do obey.
Okay, cool. That's you. Both of y'all was in the same class. Y'all sat beside each other.
I might have copied his notes.
All right. Sis, brother, has the Most High promised you anything?
Yes.
What has he promised you, sis? Listen, Negro, you Negro. Sophia,
I'm sorry.
I'm waiting on the Tutsi Rolina to let me know has the Most High promised her anything. Since y'all sit down and because if y'all don't he promised you eternal life? Boy, that was some smart rules. E, J, E and J. Favorite drink. Has the Most High promised y'all anything?
Yeah, outside of whatever they said, which is what I was supposed to say. I think one of the things that he promised was the law, right? The Torah was a promise.
Okay. I'm gonna ask two more people, sis. No, three now since it's ours here. I can mess with him. Uncle Bet.
I'm gonna go off my email. Also, promise of covenant between him and us.
So he's promised an eternal covenant.
But there's a but to it though. We had to stay obedient to his set-apart command.
Okay. So obviously, if I was a teacher, right, and we was at the school, the principal or superintendent would come and say, all your students have 100. Some is wrong, some you cheat, you give them answers, right? But all y'all say the same thing. I understood that. But it's completely true, right? But I'm still waiting on something. What does the Most High promise you, Shlomo?
Most if you keep the commandments, it's promise you total or functionality.
Okay.
Question. When you say
no, I'm not doing no clarification.
Well, okay, because if that's case,
because you just like him, you one of them studious Negroes. So I can't give you any clues.
Well, what the Most High has promised me was a second chance to have a family that I couldn't have. But that was only if I was willing to serve him with all my heart, soul, and might.
Okay, I'm gonna get it somewhere. Everybody else said what the Most High has promised. Let's go there real quick. Let's go to Gathering, commonly called Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28.
That's true.
Let's go to 27. 27. Slide please. Gathering, commonly called Deuteronomy chapter 27. Yellow D, from this point forward, y'all better ask y'all parents for some type of children's scripture. Because I'm gonna start asking y'all questions too. Gathering, commonly called Deuteronomy chapter 27. We'll start at verse 1, and then we'll go down. Moshe with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. They shall be on the day when you shall pass over the Yarden into the land which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you, that you shall set up great stones and plaster them with plaster. And you shall write upon them all the words of this Torah when you are passed over, that you may go in unto the land which Yahweh Elohim gives you, a land that flows with milk and honey, as Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers has promised you. Therefore it shall be that when you have gone over the Yarden, that you shall set up these stones which I command you this day, and Mount Ebal, and you shall plaster them with plaster. And you shall build an altar to Yahweh Elohim, an altar of stones. You shall not lift up any iron tool upon them. You shall build the altar of Yahweh Elohim with whole stones. And you shall offer burnt offerings thereon upon Yahuwah unto Yahweh Elohim. And you shall offer peace offerings, and you shall eat there and rejoice before Yahweh Elohim. And you shall write upon the stones all of these words of the Torah very plainly, right? And then let's go to chapter 28. Now we're going to dive into chapter 28. So that's just to show you who the Most High, well, who Moshe is speaking to when we go into chapter 28, right? And it said, it shall come to pass, if you hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh Elohim, to observe and to do all his commands which I command you this day, that Yahweh Elohim will set you on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, if you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Elohim. Right? So then let's go to verse 15. So chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken or shema unto the voice of Yahweh Elohim, to observe all, to do all of his commands and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Right? So we just read who he was talking to. That's the nation of Israel. You hearken, as everybody has said, you hearken, all these blessings will come upon you, life will come upon you. You do not shema or lo shema, then all these curses shall come upon you. So this is what the Most High has promised to who? To the entire nation of Israel, right? And not only that, you go to chapter 30, it says, with 29, not only the children of Israel, but the stranger who's among you, so on and so forth. So everybody who's under the covenant, okay? Okay, can I make? So when I ask you, what has the Most High promised you? Everybody specify what the Most High has promised the nation. But what I'm asking is, what has the Most High promised you that gives you momentum to continue in this walk? These are the basics, right? So this is what you want eternal life, you keep the commands. But I can go on Facebook right now and show you people who have read this and are no longer in this walk. They got them Santa hats. They about to get ready to buy these Valentine candies. They about to, they got their suit ready for Easter Sunday. No offense to anybody who does that. But in this culture, we don't do those things. But all of them read the same promises. So what's the difference between them and you?
I would say personally, it all boils down to your conviction. We all fall into the times where the Most High goes silent on us because he is saying, I gave you everything you need, now go forth and do it. Mm-hmm. But most people are used to having someone hold their hand throughout the whole process, that they don't grow to their full potential, because growing to your full potential is being uprooted from the norm to be a standout, to be set apart. You can't allow, perfect example, in Bereshit chapter 2, it says, when a man finds a wife, he leaves his father and mother and cleave onto his wife. He leaves his roots to go forth and to plant new roots somewhere else, that his line, his lineage, his inheritance can now grow forth. A lot of people get scared when they have to go back into that ground when it's dark, not knowing that the Most High is watering them to be something more than the way they come from.
I like that analogy, because the seed falls off the tree like an acorn. The acorn falls off the tree in the root. Okay. So, okay, cool. Which told Mayo. When you said something, right? You said that the Most High promised you a family, right? I'll wait till you know. Yeah. No sweat. You said the Most High promised you a family, right? When did he do that? A
second chance at a family.
Okay. When did he do that?
Ooh. Let's see. 2014. It's now 2021. 2008, like 5-6 years after he actually said it.
So 2008 is when he promised it.
2012.
Okay, so 2012 is when he promised it.
2012 when I started. 2014 is when he spoke.
So, let's try this again. So what has the Most High promised? I
can say, now I know what you're looking for. But to a sense of purpose and direction with the blessings that I had already, that I was able to recognize being, born into the family that I was born into, and things of that nature. All of the people that I had around me doing these things to me, but there was no sense of direction. I had questions of life. Who am I? What am I to do with these things? When will I ever have peace in life? Will my life ever be calm water versus the terror came down? So, when I came down to that moment, that Jacob moment, and I said, whatever it is, if I fall down and give my whole self to you, to these words, will you clear my mind, clear my life, smooth everything out, and give me peace? And those things started manifesting, as well as books that I had read when I was 20 and blind began to pop back, and things started adding up, dots started connecting, questions started being answered, people started being removed from my life, things that I knew was a problem, but ignored that they were problems, people, places, events, all of that stuff began to start manifesting, and I saw the presence of the Most High being manifest within things that I asked, promises that were made, and then seeing it manifest. These people may have not seen those things in life and didn't endure to be able to see those things. So promise me shalom. So I have peace. I'll come back to that.
That just made it. Go ahead, Uncle Matt, show me what your hand on. Oh, you didn't have it. Go ahead, Uncle Matt.
So, go to your original question, what separate us. So, let's say us in this walk is something that we say we follow Yahshua HaMashiach. In the other world, the church world, religion world, they call him Jesus Christ. But the thing is, do they actually follow? Because a scripture was plain that coming out of the book of.
I ain't talking about them.
Coming out of the book of Matthew. I understand. If you turn the book of Matthew out to the story, chapter 15, verse through 9, that explains a lot of stuff.
15? Start at verse 9?
Yep. Talk about the tradition of men.
But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Okay, I got a question. Well, I'm not gonna ask that question. I don't want to go down that hole.
That's a long hole.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go down that hole. But my question had nothing to do with anybody in any other walk of life. It had to do with those who profess at one point in time to be in this walk of life, and now you see them, whether they went back to Christianity, whether they're now Islam, whether they're now Canisian, whether they're now atheists, whether they are now God to themselves. What is the difference between them who were at one point in time walking this walk with you, and you who are still continuing to walk this walk? So, which based on Adon's testimony, right? I had a question I'm going to eat. Now I want to rephrase the question. What did you promise the Creator that made you come into this walk? Because all of your answers at the beginning, right, were correct in terms of what the Most High has promised, right? But if it is not internalized to where, and we're going to look at an example, if it is not internalized where you and the Creator make a personal covenant, then you won't last. So I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to come back to you, Akeem. You had your hand up, but then I want people to start answering, what did you promise the Creator? But
I was just going to answer what's the difference between the two. I'd say that probably is your willingness to seek with alongside the Most High and seeking out and pray that He showed you what to do instead of doing it on your own. It was like start finding some things, pray that He show clarity, and then eventually getting to that clarity, but having to put some effort into it. So not snapping the finger, understanding, but seeking Him and like kind of doing it alongside Him and His ruach and not on your own.
I don't want to ask questions that will lead to other conversation, but go ahead, Paul.
I was just gonna, to help lead the conversation, I was just gonna give an example. Because like you said, what we promised the Most High, so I was just gonna share with the people, I promised the Most High, because I knew with the way that my whole situation had happened, I knew that was mercy that I was receiving, that they'd even be alive. So what I said to the Most High was, with what life that you will be left, what strength you will remain to have, and whatever life is extended from this day forward, it's gonna be dedicated to me synchronizing my will with your will, and me manifesting what I'm doing in life here to try to go along with the words that you have laid before us, and in your prophecy and your work on earth. So I made that promise and handed that over. That was what I offered in order to get it to the point, on my personal journey. So that can help, lead the conversation.
Okay.
What I promised the Creator was, I promised to put away the idols that I've built up in my life that I didn't realize that I built that were idols. And then I also promised to personally seek Him first for myself, and to not be selfish or self-indulgent, but to serve Him and the family, the nation.
Jay, and I got you.
So I'm answering one question. The question was for me, to me, just reflecting back on my life experiences, things have not been the easiest. So for me, maybe other people, and what I promised them was that I would live in a way that's pleasing to Him and not engage in things that He hates.
Azar, and then I'm gonna start calling out sisters. Go ahead.
I really wish I was where all y'all were at when y'all made y'all promises. I promise you. I did not think no, for real. The time when the Most High spoke to me, I was living under the I was in a dark place. I just found out the lady I was with was having an abortion. And I literally just saw 3 versions of myself. Of me alive, me dead, and then me at that moment. And I had to make a choice. And the choice was to live, to die, but I had to choose. And I wanted to live because I had a family, I had kids, and I felt like I need my kids to know who I am, and really build that relationship with them. But ultimately, what I offered was complete obedience and servitude. That was I said, if you can get me through this, I will be completely obedient and a servant to the day I die. And I told him I'll go to church every Sunday. I said I'll go to church every Sunday. Just get me through this. And the next day, a pastor came into my job. He invited me to his church, and I went to church every single Sunday until I had to get locked up. When I got locked up, that's when I was in that dark place, that solitude I was talking about. And that's when I found out about this walk. And then came out. I never went back to church except one time after I came out. And when I came out there, the Ruach that I thought was there wasn't there at all. And she was there with me. And she was hesitant from the beginning because she didn't like how they treated me when I was in. And I said, after this, I'll just go where it flows. And we prayed and met Dawood, and the rest is history.
I'm gonna come back to the part where you said that you were incarcerated. Okay, now to the calling out of the sister. Go ahead, say the sister. You sit in the front row, right there.
Well, for me, being a mother is something I take very seriously. So, definitely wanting to be a better example for them. I would make me a better example just as a woman overall. So that was like my promise. I also knew that, going to church and being in church, it wasn't clear. So clarity was definitely one of the things that I asked for in exchange for the promises that he made for me.
Shay, what did you promise your creator when you were not in this world that he said Cain and I made and brought you into this way? What was your conversation like with the creator?
I was going to break curses. The curse, my family's generational curses put me, like what I was saying, in a dark place. Where I had been hospitalized a couple of times and I came into my full awakening. Things were clear, but they were unclear to everybody else. And there was a lot of uprooting going on or forcibly trying to take place because of fears and really speculations of what people had about the culture. But when I was hanging out at the hospital, waiting on my big bro, who I knew, we knew each other before the wall, came to visit me, and I was sitting watching USA Today, and they were putting the chip in people's hands on live TV and showing how it was working, and I was like, okay, you got my attention, you fully got my attention because I can't go nowhere, I can't talk to nobody, I can't do nothing, but like what you said, be still and listen. And I just made a conscious decision to try to, at that point, continue to live my life for him as was written, not how over time it was written.
Get your daughter.
But in the process of trying to break the curses so my other kids wouldn't. Hey, now look, I already told y'all I'm gonna get y'all and bring y'all's friends, so stop. That way it won't go on to the next generation again. Stop.
Absolutely. All right, one more, and then I'm gonna keep going. Welcome. Rolling the phone. Is there anything that you have promised the Most High? I know, I understand the situation, but you still believe. So, and I know you with Uncle Vet, y'all weren't in New Orleans, singing church hymns all y'all life. So,
I was in the Catholic Church, so, she grew up better than I grew Catholic.
Me too. And see,
I made many promises. Did I keep all my promises? No. I'm still battling to this day to keep the promises that I put forth. I made new revelations of new promises daily or yearly or however I do them. But I'm in a fight as
yeah. Okay. So I want to go to a couple of scriptures, and then I got questions about each one of them. So let's go to Bereshit chapter 15 really quickly. Bereshit chapter 15. Commonly called Genesis, slightly.
You said 14 or 15?
I said 15. Bereshit comes called Genesis chapter 15. We'll start at verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abram in a vision, saying, "Fear not, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward." And Abram said, "Adonai, Yah, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus?" And Abram said, "Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir." And behold, the word of Yah came unto him, saying, "This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir." And he brought him forth abroad and said, "Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if you are able to number them." And he said unto him, "So shall your seed be." And he believed in Yah, and he counted to him for righteousness. Let's go to Bereshit chapter 37. Commonly called Genesis chapter 37. Bereshit, commonly called Genesis 37. Say hallelujah now when we provide.
Hallelujah.
What we're going to do, start at verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamt. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheep arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obedience to my sheep. And his brethren said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams. Let's go to Bereshit chapter 28. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 28, we're going to start at verse 10. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place, and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the Malachim of Elohim, or the angels of Yah, ascending and descending on it. And behold, Yah stood above it and said, I am Yah, Elohim of Abraham, your father, and the Elohim of Yitzchak. The land whereon you lie, to you will I give it, and to your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you, and in your seed, shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with you, and will keep you in all the places whither you go, and will bring you again into this place. For I will not leave you until I have done that which I have spoken to you. Let's go one more time to 1 Samuel or 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 16. For those with books, please say hallelujah. We have arrived. 1 Samuel chapter 16.
Something else.
Starting at verse 1, and it reads, And Yahuwah said unto Shemuel, How long will you mourn for Shaul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and gold. I will send you to Yeshai, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided for me a king among his sons. Drop down to verse 11. 1 Samuel 16:11. And Shemuel said unto Yeshai, Are here all your children? And he said, There remains yet the youngest, and behold, he keeps the sheep. And Shemuel said unto Yeshai, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he comes. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And Yah said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Shemuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Ruach Yahuwah came upon David from that day forward. So Shemuel rose up and went to Ramah. Okay. Couple questions. Let's see how well you know your scriptures. How long did it take for the promise of Abraham to come to fruition? Where the Most High promised that you will have a seed. How long was that?
25 years? 13 years. But correction, from the time he had the seed, well, Ishmael was 13 when Isaac was born. 14 when Isaac was born. So we talk about the 14 plus the years that I got from that promise to then.
So let's say at least 15 years. Okay, Cain, one person got it. All right, so how long did it take for Yosef promise to come to fruition? And all his brothers will bow down unto him. How long did it take?
13 years.
Okay, so you got part of it, right? So it was 13 when he became Yosef, right? And then it was 7 years of feasting. So you had the 13 and the 7, you get what?
20.
At least 20 years. Let's go to Yaakov. How long when he lay on the ladder of Yaakov until he got back to that spot?
That had to be labored for Leah and Rachel.
And
And
then
then he was there for 20 years. 20 years.
Yes, sir. At least 20 years. One more. How long between David being anointed king and him actually becoming king?
Shaul was still alive for a little bit.
So because we don't know exactly when he was anointed king, right? I'm gonna give y'all a chance. First, he was anointed king at 30, right? So he became king at 30. How old do you have to be in the military in Israel? 20, right? So when he fought Goliath, was he a part of the military?
No.
Okay, okay. So at least over 11 years.
Well,
Some people say that. I'm not sure. So I'll just say at least 12 years. Because he had to fight Goliath and he was in the so he got anointed, then he was in the palace playing music for Shaul, then he fought Goliath. All of that happened before the age of 20 because he was not allowed to be in the military. So we're going to say at least, if you want to go at 12, that's 18 years. So my question is, right, everybody has been promised something of Yah, or they promised something to Yah. Would you wait for a decade before that is manifested? Whatever the Most High has promised you, if he has promised you anything, if not, go back in time. I'm sure he has spoken to you, you just ignored it. Or if you have made a promise, right? How long did it, let's do that one, because everybody has made a promise to before. How long between when you made the promise until it was fulfilled?
still waiting.
Still waiting? Since you said what?
I see. That's an everlasting battle.
Everlasting battle.
I got an answer. It sounds as though the person has to be ripened for it. So it's a matter of the person meeting the mark of that promise. Does that make sense? So the promise is established, but you have to meet that mark of the promise. So however long it takes for you to grow and ripen in the Creator to meet up to that promise, that's how long it's going to take.
Okay. Right. Absolutely. You said it's still ongoing, right? Yeah. Okay, Karen. Yes, Azar, because I got questions for you, so you done anyway.
Would that also be vice versa? Because David had a heart to build a temple, but it wasn't until Solomon to build the temple. And how many years was that?
I think it said
that was David's heart's desire to build the Most High temple.
Yeah, but it wasn't promised to him. Yeah. It wasn't promised, but it was promised that your seed will do it, but it wasn't promised about me that he would do it. But now, since you're talking, I got questions for you. You said that you were in the dark, so you promised him, you was going to church, then the Most High locked you up, right? So between that period, what would you think that period would be doing for you?
The period, wow, locked up with the period before I got locked.
The period was locked up, and if you going to church, right?
That was a trust.
Huh?
That was a period of trust.
Okay.
Hey. It was to test me to see if I truly will trust him to deliver me from this, or if I was going to, I guess, denounce my faith in that sense and return back to my old ways.
Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 20. Jeremiah coming from Jeremiah chapter 20. So we went to Abraham, we went to Yosef, went to Yaakov, went to David. All of these men, from the moment that they were promised something, until the 20, Jeremiah 20, until the manifestation of it, right? Some were 2 decades, but at least everybody had a decade. So in between that time period, what was occurring? For instance, between Yosef being promised that he would stand above his brothers until he actually did it, what occurred between there for him? Okay, testing, right? So Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 12 says what? It says that, but O Yahuwah, Zavaot, that try the righteous and see the reins in the heart. Let me see your vengeance on them, for unto you I have opened my call. The Most High said that he tries the righteous. Well, yes, sir.
I was going to say it too, the story of Ayub. He tried Iowa. When he used the time to test Iowa.
Hey. Let's go to Tehillim chapter we'll commonly call Psalms chapter 7. Tehillim commonly called Psalms chapter 7. We'll start at verse. We'll start at verse 8. My fault, you gotta press the verse over there.
What was it again?
You are something.
7.
No, we press verse 1 and we scroll.
So Tehillim, commonly called Psalms chapter 7, we start at verse 8. It says, Yahuwah shall judge the people. Judge me, O Yah, according to my righteousness and according to my integrity that is in me. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous Elohim tries the hearts and the reins. My defense is of Elohim, which saves the upright in heart. Elohim judges the righteous. El is angry with the wicked every day. He judges the righteous. He tries the righteous. Let's go to chapter 17, same book, Psalms chapter 17. Tehillim chapter 17, starting at verse 1. It says, hear the right, O Yah, attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goes not out of feeble lips. Let my sentence come forth from your presence. Let your eyes behold the things that are equal. You have proved my heart, or tried my heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me, and you shall find nothing. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress. What does that mean? I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress.
Some serious self-control.
What do you mean, sis?
Oh, I have not purposed that my mouth shall not transgress.
You haven't done that part yet?
No, we gotta get through, the rest of the Bible before we get that part. But no, it just means that he actively pays attention to what he does, what he says, how he responds to the things that are put in front of him, so that he does not sin against the Most High.
That is his whole intention. That's his mindset. His mindset is set upon this. Not only because of what the Most High has promised, but because of what the Most High has promised, now I have something to aim for. And I know the only way for me to get what you have promised me is to, as everybody has said, obey what you have asked me to obey. Okay.
He's trying not to tempt or anger the Most High with doubt or rebellion.
So, have you ever done that? In this walk, have you ever had doubt to where what the Most High said that He would give you, it looks like the complete opposite in your life?
I've had help, but not looking towards the Most High, more towards my own ability. It was more of, am I doing this the right way? Am I doing this the way that He wants me to do it, or am I doing it my own way?
So, question: when David anointed king, right? David anointed king, and now he finds himself in a cave by himself. What do you think is going through his mind? And have you ever been, once again, given a vision of yourself, right, by the Creator? And if you have not, continue to pray, continue to seek it fast, and He will show you yourself. Have you ever seen yourself, but then you wake up out of that dream and you are in the cave by yourself?
That's almost 23, sounds like maybe really in that cave.
What keeps you going if you don't have anything to attach yourself to?
Promise. The promise. The commitment you made to the Creator, and the promise of what He's going to give you in return.
For me, the testimonies.
Yes, ma'am.
The testimonies of the things that he had already done. You know, he said he changed not. So if Job went through things and David went through things and Joseph went through things, who am I not to go through things? But they all prevailed and they all met their purpose.
Many are the afflictions.
But yeah, let's look at them all. Something that I think often. If Job or Job went through what he went through, I haven't gone through anything close to that. Yeah, he still provided that double for what he lost. So we want to, you know, to be loved.
Yes.
I would say more than just the promise, but the process. Sometimes we get a promise from the Creator and we kind of just stop there. This is my promise. And we never, which is why the promise takes longer, because we never go through the process. So, like personally for me, I've been through a promise. So my baby is my promise. That's a 5-year journey. So you'll have people saying, well, you should go do it this way, do it that way, do this, and my mind is stuck on this is what the Creator said. So ultimately, what he's saying to you is, what is it that keeps you going when people are saying, don't do this or don't do that? It doesn't look like this or it looks like that. What is it that holds you there? Because the whole purpose of this walk is you being grounded in what the Creator said to you. Because people are going to say, it doesn't look like that. You should dress like this. You should look like this. We do this, you know what I mean? But the Creator is telling me to do this. So what is it that anchors you to say, I don't really care what you're saying. I'm being rude. I don't care what you're saying, but this is what he's telling me to do. So kind of like I said with my baby, I've had so many suggestions. Maybe this is wrong with you. That's wrong with you. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, this is what he says. He says, I need to do this, and a third first, and then I will do this for you. You know what I mean? And I went through that process, everything that he told me to do. Now, this is my moment. I said to David all the time, if we had it before, this school would have never happened. There's a lot of things that would never happen because my focus would have been what I desired. But I would have never been able to do everything else and learn. Like I learned from all these children. I would have never been prepared. So it was a process of maturing so that when it comes, you know what to do. So a lot of times we get these promises and we don't go through the process. The process is what really anchors you. That's why people fall out of this walk, because they have no process to look at or nothing to say, this is what the Creator is doing in my life, because they never went through the process. They just said, that's the promise, it's gonna happen. And when it doesn't show up, they lose faith, never asking, what is this process, what it looks like.
Okay,
What she said reminded me of a conversation I had with my mom, maybe about last month. It was literally that. It was her telling me, well, y'all sure y'all supposed to be in South Carolina? Why would you go out there? It's not supposed to look like that, and it's not supposed to be like that. And I was like, Mom, understand, I appreciate your concern, but we're gonna stick with the path the Most High gave us. So it literally, like almost verbatim, Kyle's, what she just said really reminded me of what my mom just had a conversation about.
And to land back off of both of them too, I think it has a lot to do with that shift in your mindset, understanding that we are stiff-necked people, then you need to be stiff-necked towards the Most High words and His promise.
So you got that?
Yeah, I did. I was starting out this show, kind of always say the same thing, but it's like what I tell my kids when they don't understand something on why I say it, or why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I'm telling them to do what they're doing, especially with my older girls. Even my friends even, I tell them it's a method to the madness. You have to trust the process. You don't understand why you're going through it, when you're going through it, until you've gone through it. And then when it's all said and done, then you have your aha moment, and it all makes sense.
So you have to have a person there. Uncle Bill conversation.
Something. when Kyle spoke, an answer came back to my recollection of what the question we asked earlier about why do some people leave this world? And it was literally, sometimes they get something that was promised to them, and they feel that now that I got this, I got what I needed, and now I'm gonna go back to what everything else doing, because I have what I want. But it's more than just that. Being a man of Elohim, that's not something that just ends when you get a wife or you have your children. That is something that you have to do perpetually for as long as you're on this earth, because that means there are going to be people who are going to see you, who you're going to converse with, and they're going to need something from you, just like you needed something from the Most High. When He blessed you with that promise and that blessing, not necessarily for you itself, but it's also for you to be in a position to be a blessing to others when they come in to their purpose of their promise. So we have to remain in that vein of Yah, because sometimes when you're not in that vein, Maury Brew said this to us a long time ago. She's for the nation. Mm-hmm. My first bot with my Isha is not for me, but for the nation. I'm praying that my boys are going to be down here because the boys are for you. But what I have given first to the Most High both times, when I was not in the walk and when I was in the walk, was a gift to the nation because it was my daughters. I have 2 daughters. That's it. I probably won't have no more. I don't want no more.
Say it again.
But the thing is, when we ask the Most High for something, we also have to remember that when we get that something, we also going to be expected to give it back to Him. And if we don't, it's as if we wasted the promise.
So who? Oh no, it's just awesome. If you want to say something on Zoom, raise your hand. Kyle can let me know. Uncle Ben.
Okay. There's one key word that Kyle said that came to mind. And I'm not just for the ones that are in the walk or left the walk, even the ones that follow religion. One key word is faith. There's one big key word is faith. Our faith in the Most High. And sometimes the reason why it's not a lot of times people lose faith of the Most High, they lose faith of people who is leading them, supposed to lead them to the Most High. I experienced this since I've been in this walk. The shepherds that mislead the people. I'm talking about the ones that's in this walk that is misleading the people. Like Yahushua, when that one sheep left, he went after that one sheep. We have shepherds in this walk. That one sheep leaves, they're not going to the sheep. Even the brothers that brought me into this walk, that's not in this walk more in a while, because the shepherds let them down. When they left, the shepherds did not go after that sheep and see what was going on. We had too many people that lose this walk because of the shepherds, or the mores, or the Sakim, whoever in leadership is spraying them away because they are not doing it to do it to the Most High. You know, when they spray us, check on that first. Everybody go through something. Okay. You know, I heard and I heard, oh, well, they need to just leave. That's not the attitude to have. You know, the thing, I've seen people that came into this walk that come out the churches and they doing things, and then you see them people not coming back because, hey, your words. One thing a lot of the Don said, well, we had a lesson on words are powerful. Your words. You know, just like we come back here, we knew about his words. He know how powerful his words is. That's why he did not want to say anything that was going to accept the Most High. You know, as leaders, when we say these words, you gotta watch what you say, because when you say something that accept the Most High, you losing people. And people lose faith in you. If they ain't losing faith in the Most High, then they lose faith in you. And so that's what we gotta get back to.
So do you think that, all right, okay, so I get what you're saying 100% because you see it every day. People, lose faith in who is leading them, right? But do you think that they have taken their eyes off of the process in that regard? And I say that because the Most High puts teachers in your life for seasons. Some may be for the rest of your life that you, in terms of King David and Shemuel, right? So after he was anointed by Shemuel, he was able to go live with him, and he was on the run, so on and so forth. So that's a teacher that's there for life. But then there are some people like the prophet Shemuel and Eli. Eli was there to teach him to a certain point. And then after that, he died. Now, Shemuel could have said, oh, dang, the high priest died. Well, I'm just going to fade into the background. But the process, right, the process that we're talking about here is continuously having your eye on the Creator. So Yosef, right, this, which kind of says what? Yosef went to Mizraim, right, away from where he had the dream and all of that, right? He was in a position which kind of also touches on what you said as well, John, is that he was in a place where he could have slept with the head man's Isha and kind of had both of them in his hand. And in a sense, it would have risen him to a position in Mizraim, right? But he was tried. And then because of that trial, he went deeper. He descended even deeper. Now he's in the dungeon. Which once again, he could have allowed that to, hey, he know I ain't sleep with his wife. I lose faith in him because he know I didn't do that, but he sends me to the dungeon. But he didn't do that. He kept his mind on the Creator. So when somebody has their faith in man, right? Jeremiah chapter 17, right? It says, thus saith 17:5. Thus saith God, cursed be the man that trusts in man and makes flesh his own, and whose heart departs from God. That's saying that your trust is so much in man that your heart and your mind are now in their hands. Don't okay. Word, but we used to say this too. We used to say, don't trust in me, trust the Yah within me. Mm-hmm. So whenever the Yah in me leaves, you should leave. Because you should be following, and the process should lead you always, the process leads you to the Creator. It should never lead you to a man, which is why those, our brothers and sisters in different religions, they are stuck on the door. So it's like going to the door. He said, I am the door, right? So it's like going to the door, but never entering in. So if you're stuck on Yahushua, or if you're stuck on Muhammad, or you're stuck on any leader of a particular paradigm, and you never go through the leader to the one that he's supposed to be pointing you to, your heart is not in the Creator, it's in that man. So that's why the Most High said, curse is he. Why? Because the dome said, he's going to fail you every time. We are nothing but flesh. Okay.
And then to say, to rally on that comment, and what I have experienced, about many other people experience too, when people put their trust in the human, the man, or the whoever's leader, they just walk away from the whole culture, period. And they have to ask themselves, like, okay, so when you came in, was you for the culture, was you for Yah, or was it for something that just looked good, that looked part of the movement, it looked like it's going to good, and you just want to be a part of that. And I noticed I have seen a lot of so-called, I say so-called, they're not Israelites no more, because they went in there and they got hurt and said, you know what, everybody's like that, I'm done with this, I'm not coming back, I'm good. And then now it's like almost a double jeopardy. So you run from the truth, you're doing something else, so y'all gonna punish you double.
Yeah, he gonna get you. He got you.
And I'm glad you brought that out, though.
Hold on real quick. Don't lose that thought.
Yeah, I was just on Camelback about that. We were talking about, leaders or whatever, because just in a part of my process, it still lies on me because I was the one that hesitated in the beginning when I was tapped in. It was time for me to change and start my work. But what gave me some of the excuses when I first was tapped and awakened to know that we were the children of Israel, when I first started taking these brothers seriously and looking at the spirit that I did not see behind many of the men that I saw speaking, gave me a reason and an excuse for me to keep doing what I was doing. Okay. So that is something, like I said, they gave me an excuse, because when I went to them, I was like, yeah, some of these brothers are saying some of the truth, but that brother don't pray a lot. I could see it in a lot of the things that I would come across. So that allowed me to still have reasons and justifications to be, because I'm finding out I was running away from the responsibility. I can be honest with all y'all. When I first came into it, I was like, well, I got to keep the door. I mean, I can't go out on Friday night. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong for, I got to give up tattoos. I come from a bike life culture. My mother rides a motorcycle. You understand? So there's a lot of stuff that come with that I didn't want to let go, but at the same time, I'm still asking the Most High why, I want to see the truth, I want to know the truth. And because I drove my feet, I had to learn the hard way from a loving father. He smacked me down and showed me that you have idols that you don't know you got. Your motorcycle is an idol. That video game is an idol. So he sat me down, but he did not destroy me. So I knew I wasn't an enemy. I knew I was given a second chance to repent and come into the wall. But I had to be smacked real hard because I was rebellious. He showed me, answered my questions, and sometimes some people can't handle how the Most High might answer.
I call it like Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because the thing is, people come to the walk, they've been taught to follow man. Everything is taught that to get to the Father, you gotta go through this man, Yeshua HaMashiach, because they don't understand the way what he was saying when he was putting it out. So people is trusting in man. And that's why, because this is people that is coming into the world. A lot of people that's coming out of religion, coming to the world, all their life, they've been taught to worship man. It's all, even today, it's all about this man is not the Father. You know what I'm saying? Even though they say they follow Mashiach, they're not following Mashiach. Mashiach said, I'm going to put time to try him. Even he was tried by the Most High. He said, the only one you supposed to serve, I rebuke you, Shaitan. The only one you supposed to serve Yahuwah and Yahuwah and him only you supposed to serve. He said, serve me. You know what I'm saying? Even when he came out with his prayer, he said, our Father in heaven, not me in heaven. So the thing is, why it's man, because people been taught to trust in man, than the Father. Even in the churches, that's the downfall with our shepherds that teach in the churches that I see what they're going with it, but the same thing, it should be always about the Father, not man. Even the Son, he put the Father before himself. So,
I was gonna Camelback, Landback. I'm not gonna say
horseback, anything.
On pretty much everybody was saying, like, I know for me when I was trying to find a teacher or who to learn from, there was so many different alphabet gangs out there. I'm not gonna call no one particular group out because there's so many of them out there. You can't name them all, but I found one that I felt like was grounded. But as things began to progress, especially in this time last year, I noticed that there wasn't any discussion among leadership as far as further preparation or going back into scripture, where scripture talks about being prepared, just as Joseph prepared for the famine, just kind of sit on your hands and with a wait and see type of attitude. And when other people would speak out saying we should start planting gardens or start getting seeds, and they would come back and say, well, leadership didn't say that. Well, leadership said, well, leadership said, well, leadership said. I began to start seeing a leadership said trend, which was a red flag for me that I need to step pull myself back away from these different alphabet groups or whatever, because it was a more of a focus on what leadership is saying that we should be doing right now versus what Yah is saying what we should be getting ready to do in the future, or what we should already be doing now. And with people coming in new, they fall into the glitz and the glamour and the bright and pretty colors and the fancy smancy, can't nobody pronounce your Hebrew name, and they get caught up and lost in when something that has been hidden in the dark comes to light, they become shell shocked that they feel betrayed, that their trust, like Ben was saying, has been put in man so much, just as in the church, they forget the main reason why they stepped into this walk to begin with. Okay? Yes, children.
Azar.
Some of my favorite scriptures lately. A lot of people ask me questions. Right during my program, one of the main questions they ask is, "So are you messianic?" I'm like, does it really matter? And exactly. And they says, well, do you believe in Yeshua? Yeah. Okay, cool. But then when they said that, they think that you're worshiping Yeshua or you're keeping him as an icon.
It's like a trick question.
It is. It really is. But
Password in the clothes.
one thing he never said, Yeshua said two things that I always tell people. One, there is none good. Why call me good? There is none good but the Father. And two, many will say, I have prophesied in your name. I have cast out demons in your name. I have done all these things in your name. He said, get away from me. I never knew you. You workers of iniquity, of lawlessness. These scriptures show me that he was Torah centered, because that's what it was at the time. He was doing what everybody in scriptures has done. Tell the people to return back to Yahweh, because that you will receive your salvation in him. Look at me as the example, but see that I am seeking him. I cannot do none of these things without him. And we hold on. Us, I believe the Most High brought me to the right group, the right community, because the community he brought me to, it was literally both. To not only and Messianic. Like that was, most people don't even know those existed. But that was where he put me, and I was able to learn, glean all these ideas and thoughts, and be able to have a true understanding of what the scriptures are saying. The scriptures that we know, the same scriptures that everyone has in common. But the traditions of men has now blinded what the scriptures are saying. So now people are focusing on what their pastor or their leader has said in regards to what the scriptures say, versus understanding and getting a personal relationship yourself with what the actual scriptures say. And that was one of the things I had to learn. Like it says, when someone's in jail, you're supposed to visit them. Visit them. These are red flags, not you, my love. but my church leadership, these are the things. And as we and the November when we did the 30 days of giving, right? These are things that we're supposed to be doing. And I've noticed that as we learn these scriptures more and more each and every year, we have grown to do more, not for ourselves, but for the community, to build up the nation. And I think that's the true definition of what the Torah is asking us to do, to be a nation in order and functionality.
Want to show you that hand up? Okay, cool. And I'm coming. So because I don't want to harken on. I know we went to Yahoo Shop. Thanks off the bat.
I want to add one thing. I'm gonna leave y'all shout on. The thing I meditate with why Yahoo Shop created is because as I'm looking, the Roman Catholic took the Greek captivity out. The things that was oppressed on our people, tradition, the customs, and they were killing our people. You know, Yahuwah Maccabees get the temple. When he died, it went back to a lot of stuff that was abominable to the Most High. So to me, it's like he had to create Messiah to bring back. He said, I came for the lost sheep of Israel. So people don't know that story because the Roman Catholic took out the Greek captivity. If you read the Greek captivity, now you can understand why he was put in place.
Okay.
So, but the church is not teaching that. The churches some of them don't know about the Maccabees and the Roman captivity. The Roman Catholic took that out the Bible. So a lot of them, they don't know nothing about that. But a lot of people don't know about the 1611 page with the apocrypha. They don't. A lot of people don't know it. Some do, but like I said, that the government agencies and things.
I mean, and that, I get it. Right.
Hold on.
Most of it, okay, so to kind of go back to the process, even with Yahoo Shah, right? He was trying to get people back from the diluted process of walking with the Creator. So the process is from wherever you start to perfection, right? That's the end goal. The end goal is perfection. That's another promise that he promised perfection, eternal life, right? So that's the end goal. So everything that we should be doing should be based off of that. But when you add man's interpretation, you add man's commandments to it, that takes you off of the process. So Yahushua was there to bring the process. But which no, I'm gonna go back to this point. Avia, and then I'm gonna go to another scripture and then go back to that.
Well, I mean, you know what, so far.
Yeah.
It was definitely alphabetic. Thanks, alphabetic. But no, I was just gonna point out, our ministry as an example of not putting faith in man and keeping it in the Creator. Because whereas a good decent part of us were part of the ministry that dissipated, we didn't necessarily take our eyes off of the Creator. And through that, the Most High has, placed us here. So I was just, boy, you want me to fight you? Don't tap me again while I'm talking, okay? All right. But yeah, I was just gonna say it's evident when you can tell when someone stops paying attention to the Creator and starts looking at His creation. And highly out that we didn't follow that path.
Because at the end of the day, it is not about man teaching. Really, the goal is to study and build so that the Creator teaches you, and we build off of each other, which is why I love the school of thought we come from, because it is an interactive school of thought. I'm not up here to tell you or implant anything into you that you are not to go and research and search out for yourself. I want to go to the book of Yaakov, commonly called James. Oh, sorry.
Just the Hebraic understanding of Yahushua being the halakha or the way, and the way is the Torah. That Hebraic understanding made me coming in from the studies that I came from be more receptive of the Brit Hadashah. Because beforehand, I knew that what they were teaching in the church was the Babylonian Kemetic Mystery School, just formulated into Christianity through the Roman Catholic Church. So I understood that. So I was very touchy about books outside of Matthew. But then when I came in and I started receiving a great understanding of, the Messiah and the Torah and how it related to history Maccabees, that made me more receptive because I felt like I understood it more. And it wasn't the Babylonian religion, you know, Tammuz, Nimrod, 24th of December, we all know it here. That they just took it and tried to bring together all the pagan religions of Rome and came up with that.
So yeah, okay, so with that, right? So that helped you. I'm gonna tell what you said, right, and then I'm gonna bring it back to the process. So if somebody told you before you were ready that Christianity was, you know, what it was, and you know, December 25th ain't Christmas, and so on and so forth, would you have been able to accept it? So say when you first got promoted to security and coaching, would you have been able to accept that? Somebody said Jesus is the devil.
At that time of my life, nah, I was like, man, I'm out there at school shop. We're not trying to disrupt the spirit up in here. So I'm gonna need you to go outside with that. Thank you.
Okay. So that's just an example, right, of trying to get the end goal before you go through the process.
But stuff like that happened, it made me think. And it was like a process of thinking every time I go back to the bed, like, why you had to tell me I gotta go look at this stuff?
It's a seed, but they didn't throw the tree at you.
Right.
All they did was plant the seed, and then you probably never saw them again. So the Most High,
they threw that seed. They ain't planted it. They said it like that.
The Most High has taken everybody through a particular process in order to get you to this point.
Yep.
Right. So the question I was saying to this morning, E, when Sis was out to deployment, right? What made you kind of shift in coming to this world? Now we're all family, right? I just got a question. What made you go into a way of life that one would have you ostracized, right? And two would have you around a bunch of us. So now you get where I'm getting at. What made you do that? When you could have, she was on the play, but you could have read it, closed the book, and kept going what you were doing. But what made you stop and actually turn?
You sound worried.
It was a combination of things. I had time because I wasn't working. But right before we moved out there, you know, we started finding a few nuggets here and there that what I was told it meant when I read the whole chapter, and kind of so it kind of led to digging and then coming upon different things, listening to certain rappers and podcasts talking about Hebrew Israelites. I was like, all right, what's this about? And then knowing that the relationship I'm in, I need to be conscious and aware of how things affect my child. And then finding out the truth. I gotta look at that. You know what I mean? So finding the truth, being excited and being revealed to that when I read for myself, that I can figure this out. If I'm seeking it with an intent to know the truth and not stay in the way that I want to stay in, and then just becoming more obedient. And then once it's kind of one of those things, once you find out a little bit, you want to know more, you know. And the more clarity that you seek and are then given, it makes it hard.
She's so entertaining.
Okay, so pretty much to kind of wrap this up and start in my stomach. We can't tell the truth in here. It's always in the place of a met. Okay, but in all seriousness, we're talking about the ability to walk through the process. Nobody should be in the same place that they were in 5 years ago.
Okay.
Nobody should be in the same place that they were a year ago.
Okay.
Not saying that everything is going to be just, right and exact and you're going to shoot up. But if your understanding doesn't change, if you're not seeking the creator, then are you really in the process?
Sorry, going through the emotions.
Most people say, well, it's a battle, the Most High working on me, I'm not there yet. That's a good. Huh?
He knows my heart.
Yeah. But he knows my heart, so we gonna get there. But in all actuality, all our goals are excuses for you to stay exactly where you are.
Okay.
And you don't really want to go through the process because the process does what? Breaks you down and builds you up. It breaks you. It refines you. The Most High said he searches the heart of the man. And he gives every man according to their works and according to their deeds. Well, why does he search the heart and then give you according to your deeds? Because I need to see the motivation behind that. Did you fall because you wanted to fall, or did you fall because in this process it's going to be bumps and bruises? Or are you continuing to use the veil of progression or the veil of growth in order to continue to be in your sin and in your foolishness? Because the Most High say he's not mocked, but with a man.
So if that shall be also.
Okay. Can you make sure I'm making my scripture?
He said, I'm not mocked.
I am not mocked. What a man sow of that shall he reap. So if you are continuing to sow growth and you're continuing to seek the creator, that even when you fall, Missionary says that righteous man falls how many?
7 times.
Okay, Candace, that means that you're going to fall. Quick question. Why does the only man who was translated, right? Enoch, it said that he was perfected. He was taken up with Elohim, right?
Okay.
When did that start?
When did his perfection start?
Yeah, it said that he walked with Elohim, right? But when did he start walking with Elohim?
When he put himself away and only focused on the Most High.
Okay, Cain, let's go there real quick. Azar, do you know? I know when. So let's go to the book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 5. This is one of the men that was perfected in the creator. The first person who it is said of that he walked with Elohim.
Shalom, we got an answer.
Huh?
Can I try?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did he walk with Elohim after 300 years?
He walked with Elohim 300 years.
Stop doing the thing. Excuse me, I read the Bible. Thank you very much.
Huh?
You said he walked with Elohim after 300 years.
No. He walked with Elohim for 300 years.
Okay, did he walk with Elohim after his son was born?
Yes, ma'am. So, okay. Chapter 5, verse 21. And it said, and Canuk lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Canuk walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years. So, what was going on for that first 65 years?
He was like Yosef said, he was a seed being planted in like to be able to walk with the Most High.
Okay, when you put that in Avia terms, that means what?
He was being chiseled.
He was going through the process. And then after he got his son, which that is very interesting, but after he got his son, then he began to walk with a purpose. He began to truly walk with Elohim for 300 years, but he had 65 years of the process. When do you meet Yahushua in the scriptures? At what age? At 30. What was going on between birth and 30?
He was going through the process.
The process. So after he was immersed, or what someone called baptized, that's when he was without sin. Not from 0 to 33.
What? Someone go tell the Christian.
That's when he was without sin. So when you deal with Abraham, you meet him at what age? Abraham, you meet him at what age? Okay, well, Abram, you meet Abram in the scriptures at what age? Bereshit chapter 12. How old was Abraham when he's introduced to the scripture?
75.
Cain at 75 years old. What in the world was going on for 75 years?
A whole lot of process.
Well, I mean, he was born to a father who worshipped idols, made idols, not just worship them, made
the
them.
idol maker.
Literally what I said.
The chief idol maker in the scripture, well, in the kingdom of Babylon was Abraham's father. So he had to go through a process of being raised in a house where all you see is idols. To maybe the sun is Elohim. No. Maybe the moon is Elohim. No, maybe the stars are Elohim. No, the maker of all of that thing would have to be Elohim. The process. So now you can hear the voice where he says, get up and go wherever I show you. To where now you are willing to get up and go wherever he shows you because of the process. If you don't go through the process of being broken, then how much more will you appreciate being whole? Kind of, Keith.
They said, in the Hebrew culture, the son or the daughter doesn't leave the household until they get married. But while the children are in the household, they're being prepared. They're being molded. They're learning the family trade or the family business. They're not leaving to go learn something else. They're learning from the family. So even if I'm a farmer, but my brother is a welder, and I see my son has a good eye for metal, I would send my son to my brother for him to learn how to weld, but he's still my family. But he's still going through that process, that learning process. So when he gets to the age where I can present to him a Isha, he's ready to leave my household to bring on to her to now begin a new with her.
Oh, so they're not kicked out the house at 18 and having to be taught how to be a man or a woman from the world. No.
Not supposed to be.
Okay.
But in America.
At 18, which are your moldable years. At 18, you're not really. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't grown at 18. I graduated at 17, so I was out in the street quite early.
I graduated.
Was not ready for that life. But I had walking, and it was fun, but it was rough.
Did you say fun?
But it was rough. And now I look back on it like, dang, if only somebody would have told me this, I would be there. So now we have all the things that should not leave until they are able, one, until they are married, two, until they are able to stand on their own.
Okay.
That's why I said dedicate or train or pierce through the way that they should go. So when they are older, they may not depart from it. So while they're here, they're supposed to be getting trained. So then when they are in the world, we know, shoot, girl, you spent 30 years in this house. You know how to cook, you know how to make your own, you know how to do your own, you know how to do whatever you need to do. So whatever your each needs you to do, you are moldable to fit that mold. Because you have been well-rounded, you have been holistically taught. Man, you know how to cook, you know how to do everything that you eat that the Isha knows how to do. So once she's pregnant and she can't do it, you don't need to go get another Isha. You good right where you at. You good right where you at. You don't need to go get a maid or anything like that. You can take care of whatever you need to do, and you still can go get the money. Like that. I said, you know, I told something. I saw that coming. She is Listen. Okay. Remove that remark. No, we don't keep that one right now. But the key word was have to. Anyway. The key word was number 5.
I cook real good.
Anyway, okay, but the point of it all, Mr. Kyle, the point of it all is to keep the process going. And let us all continue to grow together. And if you put your hand to the plow, continue to push the plow. Continue to work. So if you have promised the Creator of anything, continue to work on that promise, because He's going to continue to watch you work on the promise and enable you to complete what you have oath or vowed to your Creator.
Okay.
So, hallelujah. That's all I have for this particular Shabbat. So, any questions, comments, or concerns?
Is this recorded? Y'all, everybody. Because I need to send this to a couple of folks. I'm just saying.
I don't think it was being recorded.
No, I forgot to. No, I didn't. I paused it at the beginning because everybody was talking. I just never hit record again.
You gotta make sure we put a record like sticky note up there.
Okay, so
I'll do a podcast and do the same thing.
I doubt it. But, okay, sis, you good? You got any questions? No. You don't bother you. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't see you a long time. Got about everybody else good? Sis online? No, Seth, y'all good? Joy, y'all told? Okay, cool.
Kane, told her about for the lesson. I wish I was there, but that way I can probe your brain a little bit more. But we over here enjoying Shabbat, and I'm thankful for the Most High for technology, allowing us to still dwell and still fellowship with one another. We do plan on coming down soon. I just got to get everything situated here first. Then once we get everything established here, then come up with a solidified date and come dwell with the family again.
Okay, come soon.
And let us know so we can coordinate.
Kane, absolutely.
What in the world? Okay, Shay, you good? Oh, yeah, I'm good. All right, okay. With that being said, Mr. Kyle, let us stand. We can go ahead and set you out.
You did great.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Rukatai, Hawaii, the Haven, Meleka, Mom. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, Almighty, and our King forever. Thank you, Yah, for not giving up on us, Yah, for your loving kindness, for your mercy, and for your favor, Father Yah. For without those things, Yah, we would have already been destroyed. But we thank you, O Yah. And may you continue to give us the strength, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, Yah, the wholeness of our bodies, that we may continue to push forward and push through. That we may not turn to the left or to the right, but may we not turn back to the ways from which we came, but may we keep our face forward and continue to strive, for perfection. Strive to manifest, the things that you have placed within our leg, within our heart, within our mind. May you bless the other day, Father Yah. May you give them visions, even now, Yah. May you continue to speak with them, even now, Yah, that they may be able to begin their relationship with you, Yah, begin their journey with you. That when they grow older, Father Yah, that it is second nature, Yah, to hear your voice and to move without hesitation. That they may know that the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov is real. That they do not just read about you, O Yah, but that they feel you. Allow the children of Israel, Yah, to get back to the place, Yah, where you said that we will be, on top of the nations. Not for bragging rights, Yah, but to lead the world, Yah, to lead the earth back to righteousness. For the earth moans and groans for the manifestation of your children. The earth is dark right now, Yah, because the light has hidden itself. Allow us to hide no more, oh Yah. As you are redeeming your children, as you are bringing together the bones, Abiyah, placing on us the sinews and the skin, we pray, Abiyah, and we petition you, Abiyah, for your ruach to be poured out upon us. That your army may stand, Abiyah, and be living throughout the four corners of the earth, Abiyah. Let us break down these thin walls of division, Abiyah. Allow us to be Akkad, Yakad, one, in mind and in heart, Abiyah, and in purpose, which is to restore your righteousness upon the earth. Regardless of camp, regardless of how we pronounce the name, Abiyah, that you gave it to our forefathers, but we were not there. It was taken from us, Abiyah, due to disobedience. But as we draw back unto you, Abiyah, restore upon us, Abiyah, our culture, our language, the ways of our ancient forefathers, Abiyah. Oh, yeah. Toda. May you bless the food, Abiyah, that is prepared for us to eat. May it be totally kodesh for our bodies, Abiyah. May you bless the hands that prepared it. May you bless their households. May you even barak those who had a heart's desire to bring Abiyah but could not. May you increase each and every one of us, Abiyah. You are the one that we long for, Abiyah, the one that we yearn for. For it is you who can do the things that no other being can. You have placed your word, Abiyah, through many righteous men and women throughout history, Father Yah. So in this day, Abiyah, we know that you are the same yesterday, tomorrow, and forevermore, Abiyah. So we pray that your word goes forth, Abiyah, that those who you have called to speak your word, Abiyah, that they arise, that they do not fear what man can do unto them, Abiyah, for what man kills, you can resurrect. Elohim of all flesh, the one that protects those who fear his name, whose name is a strong tower. Yahuwah Zabaoth. Hallelujah. Baruch atah Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Bless your name, Yahuwah. Bless you, Yahuwah. Bless the one that comes in your name, Yahuwah. May you continue to lead us, guide us, and be among us in the midst of your people. And may adult Israel say Hallelujah. 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 Right.
Oh my. Get right down there, watch the pasta, man.
Man, I was in trouble.
Miss Pecan, love y'all.
Shalom, Madonna.
Okay, you got the haircut. No. Hey, lovely lady. Where's my
How you doing? Hey, I'm gonna hit you up a little bit, all right?
What is that, ID?
No, so I'm gonna call you up in here in a little bit, but I got orders.
Okay.